Steeler Nation, did the perfect candidate for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator position just hit the open market today? Hello, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and welcome to the latest episode of your Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, speaking to you here in the UK. Guys, if you've just found this Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, we are a fan channel run by real Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and we've got some new people joining us as well, so keep looking out for that. So hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell and give this video a like. Help us push it on YouTube, guys. We are a real Steelers black and gold to our core here. Not like other channels. We are genuine Steelers fans who bleed black and gold. Right, guys. So the question I asked at the start of the video was, do you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers ideal offensive coordinator just hit the open market today? Now, who am I talking about? I'm, of course, talking about Frank Reich. Frank Reich, who was the Indianapolis Colts head coach, was fired today by the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, finally losing his patience with Reich as a head coach. Unfairly, some would say, given the fact that Reich has a 40-33 record in his time with the Indianapolis Colts. Has had to work with some pretty average quarterbacks, has had them in playoff contention at least 2 or 3 years out of the 5 he's been in charge. And in addition to that, also, has been a fantastic offensive mind for the Colts. In addition to that, he has also been the man whose coaching tree has given out now 2 good NFL head coaches. Well, one outstanding NFL coach, in my opinion, and one that could get there eventually. So that is, of course, Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles. He came from the Frank Reich coaching tree, and Matt Eberflus of the Chicago Bears, who the Bears I know have high hopes for as part of their rebuild, and they are very much in a rebuild phase at this moment in time. But let's have a look at Frank Reich's career. So Frank Reich started his career at the Colts in 2006. His coaching career, obviously, Frank Reich was a quarterback in the NFL, but his coaching career was what we're more interested in. And guys, hang on for some facts at the end of the video. I've got some facts for you about how effective he was in that final year in Philadelphia when he became a Super Bowl champion. So Indianapolis Colts, 2006-2007 as a coaching intern. He was then offensive coaching staff assistant in 2008. Between 2009-2010, he was the quarterbacks coach for the Indianapolis Colts. In 2011, he was the wide receivers coach. 2012, he went to Arizona Cardinals to be the wide receivers coach. Before, in 2013, going to San Diego Chargers to be the quarterbacks coach. So you can see in that first part of his coaching career, he's built up an experience working with the two very most important parts of the offense, the wide receivers and the quarterback, certainly in this modern NFL. Then in 2014 to 2015, he had 2 seasons as the offensive coordinator in San Diego. Before, in 2016 to 2017, again, 2 seasons with the Eagles as the offensive coordinator under Doug Peterson. Then between 2018 and 2022, he has served as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. As an offensive coordinator, he was a Super Bowl champion in Super Bowl 52 for the Philadelphia Eagles. Reich is someone who gets the best out of his offense. He can foster a running game. Look at the miracles that he worked with Jonathan Taylor last season. Jonathan Taylor was the NFL's leading rusher last year. He also got the best out of his offensive line, an outstanding offensive line in Indy last year that got Taylor those fantastic yards. I think they would have qualified for the playoffs, probably at the expense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, had obviously not, because they had Carson Wentz. I think Reich had hoped by bringing Wentz into the fold in Indianapolis that he was going to get somewhat of the 2017 Carson Wentz before he went down with an injury, that he could rekindle that. But obviously many coordinators have tried and failed with that. But Reich overall is a very good offensive coordinator. In his initial time with the Indianapolis Colts, for the first few years when he had Andrew Luck and then he had Philip Rivers, and even when he had Jacoby Brissett, he had the Indianapolis Colts as genuine contenders coming out of the AFC South for playoff place and to progress in the playoffs. In fact, his playoff record is actually better than Mike Tomlin's in recent times. In the last 5 years, Tomlin hasn't had a single playoff victory, whereas Frank Reich has won 1, lost 2. Frank Reich's record in the last 5 years is actually better than Mike Tomlin's as a head coach. Mike Tomlin is 40-31-2. Frank Reich is 40-33 as a head coach. But Reich is someone who is well respected as a good offensive mind. He achieved well in Philadelphia, he achieved well in San Diego, and he has good experience at coaching the offensive side of the ball. Now, here are those facts that I promised you. In his final season with the Eagles, Reich's offense was the third best scoring unit in the league. They averaged 28.6 points per game while throwing for 233 yards and rushing for 132 yards per game. Now, think of it this way, guys. That Reich team had Wentz as quarterback, and then it had Nick Foles as quarterback. Okay. Two not particularly outstanding quarterbacks, yet he got the best out of them. He got them to score 28.6 points per game. Compare that with the meager 15.3 points per game the Pittsburgh Steelers are currently scoring. 233 yards and 132 yards in the rushing game. His offense was able to establish the run, something the Steelers offense have singularly failed to do this season. He was also able to get the best out of his wide receivers, and at a time when the Eagles wide receivers, with the likes of Nelson Aguilar, for example, were not the most talented in the world. Arguably, with the likes of Pickens, Johnson, for example, the Steelers have much more talented receivers. Yes, he had Zach Ertz, who was a very talented tight end at that time, but the Steelers have Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry. So the Steelers are moving in the right direction in terms of their weapons. And I think someone like Frank Reich could come in and really work with Kenny Pickett, develop Kenny Pickett. Remember, Reich was a quarterback himself, and as well as a good offensive mind, he could actually, I think, raise Pickett's level, something that Matt Canada cannot do, something that Matt Canada is singly failing to do. He's destroying Pickett's confidence. He could also get the best out of his receivers and the best out of Najee Harris. I honestly think that Frank Reich would be an outstanding candidate to be the new offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers next season if the Steelers decide to move on from Matt Canada. The only caveat I'd put on it is, would Tomlin be a bit afraid of Reich? Tomlin doesn't tend to hire coaches who are a threat to him. Perhaps Flores is the difference, but there are other reasons perhaps behind that. But he doesn't tend to hire any coaches that could be a threat to him. He's very much wants to be the big man on the coaching staff. And would Reich threaten that? That's the only thing I'd put against it. So for me, Frank Reich would be an outstanding offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steeler Nation, let me know what you think. Drop me a comment below. And remember, if you've just found the Syndicate and you like our content, go and check out some more content. But hit that like for us. Help us with our YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, guys. Here we go, Steelers. Come on.